Hello, I'm Kevin Goyette. The topic we are discussing today is affirmative action. Affirmative action is a policy top colleges such as Harvard have of favoring people from a minority race or races that take up a majority of the school to make the school more diverse. On June 23rd, the Supreme Court ruled to remove affirmative action, which has made taking race as a consideration on colleges' admissions unlawful. Two of our interviewers, Pranika and Rena, are going to interview Mr. Cullen, the legal studies teacher at Westboro High School, to get his thoughts on the topic. Going to Pranika and Rena.
Thanks, Kevin. We're here with the legal studies teacher, Mr. Cullen. So, what do you think about the Supreme Court's ruling on affirmative action?
So I think that was a big decision that was coming through the other day, last semester when we were talking about in class, in our criminal justice class, one of the things that we were focused on was the decision and how it was going to impact students. And so it was an interesting decision because the decision, especially around Harvard, was circumstances with it. Asian students felt that they were being discriminated against because that there was some quota that they felt was being filled by Asian students, so they felt it was being discriminatory towards them in their application process. And I think one of the fallouts from it, which was it's going to be tough, is how do we have a fair and just admissions process that also takes into account some of the institutional problems and issues that we have in this country. So that will be interesting to see what this next, our current graduating application, current incoming class will look like as far as applications are concerned. I'm interested in the numbers.
Okay. Do you think we should be doing this in the presence of other minorities entering colleges?
So, do it in the presence of, I'm sure.
Like, since they think Asian people are like filling up the spot so quick, and they want to take a chance upon the other minorities like Black people, Indian people, and Caucasian, Latinos. Do you think this is right for the other groups?
So the question is, should we discriminate against any groups? And so that was the issue that was before the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court decided that using race as the factor for any groups should just get thrown out. What we need to look at, as I said before, is there in our country any kinds of institutionalized disadvantages that a particular group suffers that we take accounting for that in a college application process. So that's going to be the new nuanced thing going forward. How do we help students from disadvantaged backgrounds to attend college, should they meet the academic standards, and give them that possibility where there may not have been the possibility for maybe their parents in that case.
Interesting. Do you think affirmative action should even be like a thing? Or
Should it be a what?
like a thing? Like, should it have even been like existed?
So I think it has served definite purposes for college and college admissions to make sure that underrepresented populations have opportunities that previous generations have had. So I think it's has had its merits in some instances, but it's also had its, I think, fair share of criticism too. And so going forward, it's going to be, like I said before, it's going to be interesting to see what those numbers look like. For instance, if we see that the college, say, acceptance rates for, we'll take Latinos, okay, or the Latinx population, goes down dramatically, okay? Like say it falls from, acceptance rate falls from say 65% to 35%. I think that number needs to be taken into account, statistics needs to be taken into account, and then how can we best serve underrepresented populations to make sure that they have equal access to that college life, that college freedom.
All right, thank you, Mr. Khan. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pranika and Rena. Moving on, we want to get a student's perspective on this topic, particularly a senior. One of our interviewers, Gianlucca, is going to interview Ayush from the class of 2024.
All right, so we're here with Avi, and we're discussing affirmative action. So for the first question we have, what do you think about the Supreme Court decision? How do you think that will affect your shot at college?
So I think, the Supreme Court is going to rule like however the Supreme Court is going to rule, but I think in general it doesn't really affect my college process at all. That's not really something I'm considering or thinking about. I think for the most part, colleges are still going to ensure they have diverse campuses. Just even if they find diversity in other ways, I know a lot of colleges have started using an essay prompt about diversity, so I think it doesn't really affect that much. The colleges are still going to be able to have a diverse atmosphere, which I think is really important.
For the second question, do you believe that legacy admissions are good or valid?
I think to some extent legacy admissions are valid, just because I think there is culture associated with a lot of schools, and if somebody's parent went there, they kind of want their child to also go there. And I think to some extent that makes sense, and I think it doesn't only have to apply to Ivies. I think that logic can apply to a lot of other schools, just in terms of having a family lineage. I think that's something a lot of people look to, and I think that adds to the culture of the school. So I think, to some extent, legacy admissions are good, even if they, are harming the other students.
Now, for the final question, it's let's say that affirmative action is still in play. Do you think they're implemented fairly and equitably?
So I don't really know about affirmative action in terms of the college setting, obviously, because it's been struck down. But I think colleges ensuring that they have a diverse campus is obviously important. So it's been implemented well there, and I know a lot of businesses and stuff do stuff similar to affirmative action, in terms of DEI guidelines. So I think that also helps businesses. It's been shown to increase profits. So I think overall it's a good implementation.
Well, thank you for your time, and now back to the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gianlucca. This goes to show how affirmative action can affect a high schooler, particularly a senior's mentality. Thank you for watching. This is Kevin Goyette from class of 2026, going out.